And that one too. So here we are. Now it's just a matter of YouTube connecting. And it looks like we are successful. Let's give it to a technological crew out here at Hearts Haven. They injure some T's every now and then. Oh, I'm so sorry. Worst casualty was the cup. I will share with you, but you can't hold much in that one. It's a little quacked up. You can hold it like that, like the Asians do. You'll forego. So, we've got to give a little introduction. We got our new article from Voice of the Martyrs and Life Inspiring. My goodness, we are clueless to what hardship is. We're clueless. Here, Voice of the Martyrs remind us of what it is to really be persecuted. Check this one out. I got to go get my sword anyway. In Nigeria, these are family packs. They call them family med packs. For $10, you can we can supply, and mine's actually, I don't know where mine is. I think I read it on the sofa. And in Nigeria, it I'll share a little article that it speaks of. Lottie had heard the rumors of an impending attack on her village in Nigeria by militant Fulani Muslims. She had lived through it before. In preparation for the attack, men of the village led all the women and children into the nearby bush to hide. Then they returned to defend their homes. With her baby tied to her back and her 3- and 6-year-olds at her side, Lottie waited anxiously with the other women. Several hours later, some of the village men returned to the group, but Lottie's husband and several others were not among them. They had been killed in the attack. After walking to the relative safety of a nearby town, the group camped on the grounds of the police headquarters. Lottie had nothing to feed her children, who were tired, worried, and hungry. She felt abandoned by God. Then she received a package containing food, blankets, and other necessities, and she was reminded that Christians from around the world were with her in her time of need. That's just one. The family med packs, they said, it specifies, send them a family med pack as a gift from their Christian families around the world for $10. Tens of thousands of our Christian brothers and sisters have been driven from their homes by Islamic extremists in Africa and in the Middle East. You can respond. A family med pack filled with health and hygiene items provide basic necessities to sustain them. This is just one article of many. Here's one from Sudan. Kamis first arrived at the dusty refugee camp in southern Sudan 18 years ago. This is as of now. He and others from his village, had taken shelter after fleeing the government bombing campaign in Sudan's Nuba Mountains. But he never imagined he would stay so long. Life has been difficult for Kamis, but he and other Christians in the camp take solace from weekly worship services that meet in a crude structure they built by lashing sticks together. And they encourage one another by singing and listening to their pastor explain God's word. While Kamis sees little hope of improving his situation, a gift of sheets, a blanket, and a clean towel has provided some comfort in the refugee camp. Each time he tucks the sheet around his cot, he thinks of the people who love him as a brother in Christ. So action packs consist of the gift, an action pack to Christians living under daily oppression because of their faith. 2 options. You fill $10. Your order as many action kits as you would like. Each kit will contain an empty pack and instructions. Fill your pack and ship them back to VOM. We will distribute within the field with the most urgent need. VOM fills $50 also. Make a donation to cover the number of action packs you wish to sponsor. VOM's Field staff will build and distribute packs in the field. And that's pretty much that. Look, zip ties and some stuff that could be useful. Look at their family. And look at their clothes. It's amazing to think of what we consider suffering is. We are clueless. We are clueless. The smiles on these people's faces as they realize that one gift just came by and they consider it a special gift for them. Why? Because they've learned to trust in the universe creator, in the creator of all. Thank you for my sword, sweetheart. So today being hump day, we begin Daniel. I don't think his name was that fancy. I think his name was actually, they called him Belshazzar. Hearing the thought of Kevin, I believe his name is, and I saw him yesterday. He's a fellow that I think I mentioned to you at the gas station when I went to go get gas. There was a fellow outside I got to pray for. Yesterday, as I was driving out, I saw him, walking around. I told him if I encountered him again, I'd say, that's the blessing. But Lord, you know how many names are here and how many we've added. Blessing goes out to Angelo and his family and all those that are encouraged by your word. Remind us to trust in you as we heal from broken feet, from hurting eyes, from tired souls. Remind us, Lord, that your yoke is light. Your burden is light. Thank you, Lord, for what you carried for us. For though many encounter persecution and even martyrdom, you have carried the worst of all. You've carried all the burden of our sin. Remind us, Lord, that only in you can we be useful. Remind us, Lord, that only in you can we do anything that is good. Teach us and equip us as useful vessels as you would have us, wherever, here at Hearts Haven, as we prepare for what's about to happen. Lord, we saw the fear in these cars and these drivers that are going to get tested. They're in doubt. They're like lost. We are your salt. We are your light. How will they know unless they hear? Let us be useful in your hands, Lord, and continue to school us here in class 101. Blessings to all those that are out there in the battlefield as well. Marcus, Larry, Truthstream, all those that are speaking truth. Sandra over at Whole Life Ministries.
Yes, to Georgia.
For those that are awake, for those that encounter encouragement, thank you to the sisters of Women with Purpose.
Yeah.
May we encounter a real studying of his word, a in-depth study of his word, that we would realize that there are no confusions. There are no moments that he has not told us where we'd be. And we are in an ignorance of establishing the placement of where time is according to his scripture, because we are lost in this calendar of Roman Empire. Times are changing. They're evident. We see them around us in our cities. It is burning up, people. That bubble, boom, you just haven't heard it blow. His word is established. So Ezekiel he's like a whole new person. Every time we read through this, he's a whole new person, because the insight that one gathers from reading and reading and reading and reading and reading again, not because we're going to get full understanding of everything, but because we are hungry. And in the faithfulness of his word and how he shares with us, gives us the strength, gives us the hope, gives us the courage, gives us the endurance to maintain, stay the path, journey with him. It's through his word that we get to know him. There is no other way. At least the quickest. There is no shorter way than reading it in your own language. And if you could read too, hey, look at this guy. He's going on for a new look. He is shedding. He is shedding the very. Wow. Yeah. Oh, I think he's excited. He fanned out. You know that gill? Back then they went like that. Still some do. The Lord is amazing. He created all these creatures. Now they're being worshipped. So again, clarity through his word. And Ezekiel gives us, again, the illustrative part of how some things are repetitive. They share with us stories that we've heard before in a different format, from a different perspective. Sometimes through different years. Probably same kingdom, but the understanding that she shares with me is the awareness of how kingdoms come and go. And it's all according to the desires of their heart. We notice how when the kings are evil, they don't live long. When kings are evil, their length of life isn't fruitful. Sometimes their own children, for the hunger of just being in the kingdom, hey, let's off our dad. We'll let you go first. After all, I'll go next. And maybe I'll kill you when you get old and get me upset. But again, Daniel's going to share of the same accountings, prophets, voices, messengers, watchmen, salt, God's word, mute.
Daniel, whose name means God is my judge, was a statesman in the court of heathen monarchs. Taken captive as a youth to Babylon by Nebuchadnezzar in 605, he spent the rest of his long life there as a governmental official, as a prophet of the true God.
Isn't that amazing? And Sandra was sharing with us how Daniel was a righteous man. Not that he was perfect, but that he worked for the government, first of all, and he stayed clean. He stayed clean. He didn't have any deceitful, hey, what did you embezzle there, Daniel? Another 150,000 to that woman over there in the Caribbean? None of that, as we have here. Come on, we know what was going on at Lolita Island. Let's not be naive. So again, in the thought of Daniel being a name of God's judgment, because the names of every prophet, and actually there's studies going on, I haven't carried it fully throughout, but the studies of what the names are, the meaning of the names, how from the beginning of Adam and all the names that came after that are mentioned, the descriptive of the names actually shares a story. And the story is still who? Jesus, of course. The names point to Jesus. That is why it's impossible for men to have written and altered this book. But many of those evolutionist mindset would not choose to believe that. Point being, Daniel meaning God's judgment. He was picked at that time by God to use him as his voice for that society, for that civilization, for that time. And there we go to Daniel, once upon a time. They jump right in, all right? You ain't messing around. In the 3rd year of the reign of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came to Jerusalem and laid siege to it. The Lord handed Jehoiakim, king of Judah, over to him, along with some of the vessels from the house of God. Nebuchadnezzar carried them off to the land of Babylon, to the house of his God. Put the vessels in the treasury of his God. Then the king ordered Ashpenaz, the chief of his court officials, to bring some of the Israelites from the royal family and from the nobility. When there's a kingdom, there's always smart people around them, because they use those smart people to kind of give insight to the king of how he's going to make his choices to either corrupt the people or use them for God's glory. The chief official gave them different names. I'm sorry, I jumped over. So Israelites from the royal family and from the nobility. Young men, 4, without any physical defect, good looking, suitable for instruction in all wisdom. And I go like this. Do I qualify? Get. Oh, you gotta laugh every now and then. Young men without any physical defect, good looking, suitable for instruction in all wisdom, knowledgeable, perceptive, and capable of serving in the king's palace. Must have some skills, right? I bet you they can change a light bulb without needing help. The king assigned them daily provisions from the royal food and from the wine that he drank. Whoa, to be the VIP, huh? They were to be trained for 3 years. And at the end of that time, they were to serve in the king's court. Hey, let's create Jesus boot camp for 3 years training. Or 3 weeks, just depends how fast you want to go. We'll get you to a 2-bean Mexican ninja level at least. Okay, so the king assigned them their daily provisions from the royal food and from the wine he drank. They were to be trained for 3 years, and at the end of that time, they were to serve in the king's court. Among them, from the descendants of Judah, were Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. You don't need to, it's already open. Yeah, you just need to turn it.
Okay.
They're made in China. It's the reverse corkscrew. The chief official gave them different names. To Daniel, he gave the name Belteshazzar. I bet you he didn't like it. No, it was actually Belteshazzar. To Hananiah, Shadrach. To Mishael, Meshach. And to Azariah, Abednego. Daniel, 8, determined that he would not defile himself with the king's food or with the wine he drank. So he asked permission from the chief official not to defile himself. God granted Daniel favor and compassion from the chief official. And here's where I was sharing with you a little bit of insight on who did Daniel know he was, right? He was part of the remnant of where, remember, there were fugitives. It says, in the 3rd year of the reign of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, it was the 3rd year of their, cleaning house. Remember, it was going to be empty for a while. But those that escaped with their life, they were to say, thank you, Lord. You gave us much. So Daniel determined that he would not defile himself with the king's food, because he is realizing the kingdom he was walking into. It was the king of Babylon. It was like coming into New York right now. Like right now, where they worship everything under the sun, right? Am I speaking out of line, sweetheart?
No, absolutely not. Lord God.
We are in an area of Babylon because everything is worshipped, even turtles, even Pokemon. Is that not the epitome? Can you see us down here? Oh, Lord, thank you enough for speaking my personality. Blessings out to you and your ministry. For real. Can't wait to be dancing side by. Hopefully impressed. Daniel determined that he would not defile himself with the king's food or with the wine he drank. So he asked permission from the chief official. Who is this chief official? I think it was Jehoiakim. Oh no, Ashpenaz, the chief of his court officials. Verse 3. The king ordered Ashpenaz. So he asked him, he's like, hey, I've been praying, right? And he says, we really want to set ourselves apart for the king. Would you mind if we don't eat his food? We want to really purify ourselves and be focused on what the Lord would have us do, because we want to represent the king. All right? God had granted Daniel favor and compassion from the chief official. Yet he said to Daniel, my Lord, the king assigned your food and drink. I'm afraid of what would happen if he saw your faces looking thinner than those of the other young men your age. You would endanger my life with a king. You see that? He wasn't looking out for Daniel either. He was still looking out for himself. They were selfish people back then. They just follow orders. Everybody just followed instructions. Why? That's the world they lived in. There was no Holy Spirit. So Daniel said to the guard whom the chief official had assigned to Daniel. In other words, Ashpenaz, right? So Daniel said to the guard whom the chief official had assigned to Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, please test your servants for 10 days. Let us be given vegetables to eat and water to drink. You think they asked for bacon? No. They got sick of bacon back then when they were gluttons, probably complacent Christians. And now the Lord has just made an example of that entire place. And now they get to breathe still. So they're saying, we're going to choose to represent our God, if that's okay. We'll stay with vegetables and water. You want to test our God? Just give us 10 days. You see that faith now? Starting to believe. Why? They just saw the evidence. They witnessed it with their eyes. Just like the disciples did when Christ ascended in front of, wow, I think there was over a couple hundred. It's just not written about like that. Or believed. I believe, I believe, I believe. 9. God had granted Daniel favor and compassion from the chief official. Yet he said to Daniel, my Lord, the king assigned your food and drink. I'm afraid of what would happen if he saw your faces looking thinner than those of the other young men your age. You would endanger my life with the king. So Daniel said to Ashpenaz, please test your servants for 10 days. Let us be given vegetables to eat and water to drink. Then examine our appearance and the appearance of the young men who are eating the king's food, and deal with your servants based on what you see. In other words, fast food. He just fasted from their food, and they were able to just test the official, just the cop, the court attorney, the district, whatever you want to call him, the representative, the one that's actually keeping you from getting your head cut off so quick. Let's see if they're useful. Give them 3 years. We might use them. If not, we'll skin them alive. They got pretty good skin. We'll make purses out of them. That's what Nebuchadnezzar was like. He'd grab children and wham against rocks. He didn't care. They were gods then. There was not deities. There were deities that they worshiped, but they showed their power through their body. They believed to be men, God men. So please test your servant 10 days, then examine our appearance and the appearance of the young men who are eating the king's food, and deal with your servants based on what you see. 14. He agreed with them in this matter and tested them for 10 days. At the end of 10 days, they looked better and healthier than all the young men who were eating the king's food.
Detox, people.
Detox from all the crap. Yeah, not just what you put in your body and your mouth, but all put in your eyes too. And all surrounding you, the 5G, get out of it. Get back to nature. Connect once again with peace. His name is Jesus, Emmanuel. Emmanuel. 16. So the guard continued to remove their food and the wine they were to drink and gave them veggies. So who do you think were the first vegans? Ka-dunksh. Ah, this finger is getting so stiff. No, this one. It's from holding scripture because I kind of clench it. God gave these 4 young men knowledge and understanding. Oh, in English and in Spanish, I bet you. Or whatever language they spoke then. In every kind of literature and wisdom. Daniel also understood visions and dreams of every kind. Again, think about it. The Lord started his prophets by picking at them at night. You know, and they're giving them dreams and visions. And Daniel's like, there was a burden in his heart. Even when we deny, even when we live in a society or a world that there is no actual existence of God or a true manifestation of what his word says, then we can live complacent, ignorant of the reality of him watching it all from the beginning. So the Lord begins to speak to those he chooses as he watches them live their life in their vessels of dirt, temporal ones, of course. And that's why he gives them this insight. 18, at the end of the time that the king had said to present them, the chief official presented them to Nebuchadnezzar. Quick question, quiz. How much time was that?
End of the days?
Well, yeah, it says,
End of the days?
at the end of the time that the king had said to present them, how much time were they to train? Three years. Remember, he had said it was 3 years? For 3 years, feed them and train them. If they're useful, we'll keep them in the king's court. If not, get rid of them. So they were given 3-year probation to be fed, to be cared for, to be schooled in knowledge of their kingdom's ways. But the Lord had set them apart, and he gave them the ability to, gave him, Daniel, that's just him. 18, at the end of that time that the king had said to present them, the chief official, in other words, Aspenaz, presented them to Nebuchadnezzar. The king interviewed them, and among all of them, no one was found equal to Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. So they began to serve in the king's court in every matter of wisdom and understanding that the king consulted them about. He found them 10 times better than all the diviner priests and mediums in his entire kingdom. Entire kingdom. That's not just a little group of, 2,000. Daniel remained there until the first year of King Cyrus. 2, in the 2nd year of his reign, Nebuchadnezzar had dreams that troubled him, and sleep deserted him. Guess who causes that too? Oh, the Lord can pick at anyone. He chooses whom he chooses. Nebuchadnezzar had dreams that troubled him, and sleep deserted him. So the king gave orders to summon the diviner priests, mediums, sorcerers, and Chaldeans to tell the king his dreams. Not just, hey, tell me what I dreamed. No, tell me my dream and tell me what that means. Wow. When they came and stood before the king, he said to them, I have had a dream and am anxious to understand it. Did he dream it once? It says over here. In the 2nd year of his reign, Nebuchadnezzar had dreams. That's more than one. that troubled him. So, and sleep deserted him. It didn't just happen one night. He became probably an insomniac. The time of patience that they had back then was much more than what we have now. Now we want 5G now. Instant we want. Back then, if they had a message to send, they had to expect at least a month before maybe the message got to however far they wanted to send it to. So again, it wasn't a time frame of, oh, I had a bad little daydream and I dreamed somebody unfriended me on Facebook. No, they were troubled. Why? Because they were Neanderthal men. They just lived by the pleasures of their whim. And whatever insight their little chosen officials would give them insight for. So, where's I at? When they came and stood before the king, he said to them, I have had a dream and am anxious to understand it. Same dream, a couple, 3-4 times, I don't know, maybe 30, 40. Point is, more than once. That's all I'm saying. Don't kill the messenger. The Chaldeans spoke to the king. Aramaic begins here. This is where the Aramaic language apparently begins, I guess. I have it in parentheses. May the king live forever. Again, Chaldeans came in. They were somehow people that were just introduced or brought into this kingdom, and they were the new people. Maybe they had new magic tricks. Maybe, who knows? They were Chaldeans. Tell your servants, may the king live forever, they say, because everybody arrives. When you approach the king, you better wish him well, because he can off your head just for smelling bad. Tell your servants the dream, and we will give the interpretation. Oh, they consider themselves capable, believe it. They consider themselves wise enough to say, yeah, of course, tell us a dream. We'll tell you what it means to the T. There was people back then that confidence. We're not the only egocentric nation here of confused Babylonians. Huh. Tell your servants a dream and we will give the interpretation. The king replied to the Chaldeans, my word is final. If you don't tell me the dream and its interpretation, you will be torn limb from limb, and your houses will be made a trash dump. Hey, sweetheart, tell me what I dreamed last night and tell me what that means, or I'm going to terrorize a ladies' coop. That's a king. That's a king for you. I forgot my towel. I should turn my fan back on. It's getting warm in here.
It said that commentary said the command for me is firm, or the thing is gone, or the dream is certain to me. It is uncertain whether or not the king had forgotten the dream. If not, he was putting his wise men to the ultimate my dream.
Tell me my dream, I say.
Weeded them out.
And he says, but if you make the dream and its interpretation known to me, you'll receive gifts, a reward, and great honor from me. So make the dream and its to me. They answered a second time, may the king tell the dream to his servants and we will give the interpretation. The king replied, I know for certain you are trying to gain some time because you see that my word is final. If you don't tell me the dream, there is one decree for you. You have conspired to tell me something false or fraudulent until the situation changes. So tell me the dream and I will know you can give me its interpretation. Oh, you better believe it. There were men before Christ that came down on earth that believed to be God men. Pharaoh thought he was the big kahuna, the big chief, the owner of all. The Lord said, hey, you forgot about the one who created it. Let me turn your little area of dirt over for a little bit. Remind you who made you. They answered a second time, may the king tell the dream to his servants. Remember, they're begging. They're just about, they know he's not changing his mind. So tell me the dream and I will know you can give me its interpretation. 10, the Chaldeans answered the king, no one on earth can make known what the king requests. They knew that. They were smart humans. We're not the smartest ones. We're much dumber. We're much more stupider because we rely on gadgets made out of plastic and made by erred men. No one on earth can make known what the king requests. Consequently, no king, however great and powerful, has ever asked anything like this of any diviner priest, medium, or Chaldean. We got to know what the Chaldeans represented. They probably represented those PhDs ones, the doctorates and the PhDs and the SSCs and the PhDs. What the king is asking is too difficult, that no one can make it known to him except the gods, little g, whose dwelling is not with mortals. Oh yeah, you better believe it. Back then they knew that they weren't the only vessels of dirt on the planet. There were other things already that were defiled. They were called the Nephilim, and they were also the fallen angels. The third that chose to defy God's presence. Don't let me get into the aliens now. We'll bore them. Because of this, 12, the king became violently angry and gave orders to destroy all the wise men of Babylon. Oh, if we would have someone call that out, I would keep my mouth shut over here just so that they'd get rid of them all. From all your little hocus pocus to your little vexes of chickens and dwellings underground. Oh, there is no power. There is no power above God's truth. There is nothing that can stand up to his truth, to his sword, to his word, the weapon. 13 of 2. The decree was issued that the wise men were to be executed. And they searched for Daniel and his friends to execute them. So, again, the decree was issued to kill all the wise men. They searched for Daniel and his friends to execute them. So, in other words, the same Aspenaz, or whoever, all the officials that were now mandate, arrest anyone who does not receive the COVID vaccination. Oh yeah, it's happening now, people. Then Daniel responded with tact and discretion to Arioch, the commander of the king's guard. He went over Aspenaz now. He also was on, hey, we don't want to kill this man. These guys got word. These guys are praying to a real God, but it wasn't being recognized yet. Nobody wants Jesus. They never did, because he establishes rule. He asked Arioch, the king's officers. I'm sorry, did I skip over? Yeah, discretion to Arioch, the commander of the king's, who had gone out to execute the wise men of Babylon. He asked Arioch, the king's officer, What is the decree from the king? Then Arioch explained the situation to Daniel. So Daniel went and asked the king to give him some time so that he could give the king the interpretation. Then Daniel went to the house and told his friends, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah about the matter, urging them to ask the God of heaven for mercy concerning this mystery, so Daniel and his friends would not be killed with the rest of Babylon's lying men, wise men. The mystery was then revealed to Daniel in a vision at night, and Daniel praised the God of heaven and declared, may the name of God be praised forever and ever, for wisdom and power belong to him. He changes the times and seasons. He removes kings and establishes kings. He gives wisdom to the wise and knowledge to those who have understanding. He reveals the deep and hidden things. He knows what is in the darkness, and light dwells with him. I offer thanks and praise to you, God of my fathers, because you have given me wisdom and power, and now you have let me know what he asks of you. Nebuchadnezzar was asking God himself, who is putting these dreams in my head? Who are you? Show yourself. Why are you showing me? Why do I have these dreams? Why can I not sleep anymore? I am second year in kingdom reign over Babylon. I cannot sleep. Who is this that's given me this insomnia? Oh, he was not a very subtle person. No, he would have people torn limb from limb just for not explaining their dream. And now you have given me wisdom and power, and you have let me know what he asked of you, for you have let us know the king's mystery. Daniel got the insight, but with the other three, they collaborated. They all must have gotten a little part of each thought. It's like, I saw this, and I saw this, and I saw that, and then I heard this, and then I saw that. And then Daniel's like, he put it together. He's like, English and Spanish. Yeah, English is corrupt, people. It was invented. It was a corrupt language of Baal worship. I'm sorry, I can't help it. I'm just a ninth grade dropout. Others should have picked up on this by now. I'm only 2.5 years old. Credits to, I think, David Schroeder. I still have to look him up. 2016. He was also on the same thread that I'm chewing on right now. Babylon here in the States. We got to catch up with Sandra. Sandra! Lord, no offense. We want to catch up with some insight. Bring us or take us there. Therefore, Daniel went to Arioch, the one that was, oh, them are wise men. Oh, you're wise. Oh, you're a diviner. Oh, you're one of those fortune tellers. I wonder how many they had already about sent to kill. Therefore, Daniel went to Arioch, whom the king had assigned to destroy the wise men of Babylon. He came and said to him, don't kill the wise men of Babylon. Bring me before the king, and I will give him the interpretation. Kind of like Jeopardy does. They give you the answer, and you're supposed to ask the question. The Lord is the originator of all. There is nothing new under the sun. Everything is copied. Then, 25, Arioch quickly brought Daniel before the king and said to him, I have found a man among the Judean exiles Remember? Be grateful for the skin on your teeth if you have breath. Say thank you. The king said in reply to Daniel, whose name was Belshazzar, are you able to tell me the dream I had and its interpretation? Daniel answered the king, no wise man, medium, divine or priest, or astrologer is able to make known to the king the mystery he asked about. He was revealing himself among them. No wise man. But there is a God in heaven who reveals mysteries. And he has let King Nebuchadnezzar know what will happen in the last days. Hey, isn't that what we're kind of living in right about now?
Yes.
It's okay, people. From the time Jesus ascended, they were waiting for him still. Let's just be full of his Holy Spirit. You know, oil in our lantern. All, that is, all. He has let King Nebuchadnezzar know what will happen in the last days. Your dream and the visions that came into your mind as you lay in bed were these. Sit down, Nebuchadnezzar. The Lord's about to speak to you. He could have just about said, and Nebuchadnezzar would have said, whoop. But there is a God. No, we already read that, right? Your dream and the visions that came into your mind as you lay in your bed were these. Your Majesty, while you were in your bed, thoughts came to your mind about what will happen in the future. The revealer of mysteries has let you know what will happen. As for me, this mystery has been revealed to me, not because I have more wisdom than anyone living, but in order that the interpretation might be made known to the king, and that you may understand the thoughts of your mind. 31. And check out 33. It's awesome. My king, as you were watching, a colossal statue appeared. As you were watching, you know, in his dream, Nebuchadnezzar was like this. Cardinal, lizard, shedding. His kingdom, it's only second, third year. I'd still be excited if I got a kingdom. Well, we do have one here. It's called Heart's Haven. It is beautiful. We get to reign here. The Lord has allowed us to let it flourish. His word is spoken. Baby watermelons are given. Ladies give off a bunch of eggs. Lizards come out and shed. And it's pretty awesome at Heart's Haven. Our vegetables are growing. We even got 2 whole peanuts with 2 whole peanuts in each. For real. A curled up cucumber, and then a nice one that was, we drank a very good cucumber juice that is good for digestive and your blood vessels to be inflated, to have good. Jesus boot camp takes over. And here we get to glow, all for his glory. Anyway, we still have 3 to go because we're excited about it ourselves. We didn't touch it yesterday. It's been a year for me. All to his glory. 32, 31. My king, as you were watching, a colossal statue appeared. You know, just like your virtual reality in your movies. Just manifested. That statue, tall and dazzling, was standing in front of you, and its appearance was terrifying. And of course, Nebuchadnezzar can go back to his dream and go, ooh, he's describing. The head of the statue was pure gold. Its chest and arms were silver. Its stomach and thighs were bronze. Its legs were iron, and its feet were partly iron and partly fire. As you were watching, a stone broke off without a hand touching it, struck the statue on its feet of iron and fired clay and crushed them. Then the iron, the fired clay, the bronze, the silver, and the gold were shattered and became like chaff from the summer threshing floors. From the summer threshing floors. Wow. The wind carried them away. I got to read it in Spanish, and it might. The wind carried them away, and not a trace of them could be found. But the stone that struck the statue became a great mountain and filled the whole earth. There is always a cornerstone.
35.
I'm on 36 now. Right. So you have insight?
Yes.
Cool.
The stone, 35. Fill the whole earth. To refer this to the first coming of Christ and the victory of the gospel, and the whole is contrary to such verses as Matthew 13, 36, and 2 Timothy. It's a reference to the future millennial kingdom of Christ. It's verse 35, just one verse, telling us it's coming.
It's getting ready, and I think the summer of
Ooh, it's a big one.
the summer of 23 might be the last one. Who knows?
It's a big
It could be 21, or it could be 22, or it could also be 2020 for many. There are people that are dying on the streets. Over in this Minneapolis city, I think a 16-year-old was killed by gunshots that they could not respond because no more cops are around. No more. I was just seeing if it's still live because over there it's not on cue. A 16-year-old and a 14-year-old was also critically wounded. Not dead yet, but there's no hospitals out there for them to be restored to. They've chosen to be anarchists. And in a city that is now just about burning up, it is their final days. The persecuted here that we read of, it is their also final days. For those that are going over to get incubated or get a tube shoved up in them or get some vaccination or get tested, it's just another step into the fear-dwelling life that you're in. He did not call us to a spirit of fear at all. He called us to stand and to live by his word, to know his word, to have it at ready defense at any time. I'm not just speaking out of my own evidence. I'm sitting next to the evidence of one as well. She was told also that poison was in her and it was destined to take its destination. No. By God's word. No. It's his choice. Whether he delivers us from the fire, we will still not bow down. Became a great, so 35 we filled it, right? Became a great mountain and filled the whole earth. This was the dream. He stopped right there. Now, we will tell the king its interpretation. We, his three were there present. I don't know if anybody really has had the experience of living, of being in a place of a court where decisions, critical decisions that are being made are the destiny of a life, a destiny of a society, a destiny of a government, a destiny of anything that is crucial to feed or to let die, to kill or to let live. That's what they were facing. If Nebuchadnezzar was at a pause listening to Daniel, the presence of those four in the conviction that they had, in the assuredness that they had, in the full confidence that they had in the interpretation. They were sure who they know, and they knew they represented. They were nothing. They were vessels of dirt chosen by God to be useful for the establishment of, here the accounting of what Nebuchadnezzar then became a kingdom. Again, this is his first, second, third year. You know how many years? Stay tuned. Follow along. It's a good journey. This was a dream. Now we will tell you, the king, its interpretation. Your Majesty, you are the King of Kings. The God of heaven has given you sovereignty, power, strength, and glory. Wherever people live, or wild animals, or birds of the air, he has handed them over to you and made you rule over them all. You are the head of gold. Wow. You think about that. The king is sitting down on his throne. The four men are in front of him. Pretty much a court where he is getting word of what they're saying. Is the public there? Who knows? Maybe the king didn't want anybody to know if that was a weakness of him. So he only had a few privy. Antioch, maybe. Aspenas, possibly. His court officials only. Those whom he trusted. And you know how many there were? None. He didn't trust his wise men. He didn't trust anybody. Why? Because everybody wants a kingdom. Everybody wants to rule for at least 5 minutes. We are living in this empire of I think this, I think that. I think I deserve a trophy for this. I think you need to see me for that. If we've got nothing to say good of Jesus, we should say nothing good at all. We will not say anything good. We can speak only by his will. Thank you, Lord, for English and Spanish. Your Majesty, you are the King of Kings. The God of heaven has given you sovereignty, power, strength, and glory. Wherever people live, or wild animals, or birds of the air, he has handed them over to you and made you ruler over them all. You are the head of gold. After you, there will arise another kingdom, inferior to yours, and then another, a third kingdom of bronze, which will rule the whole earth. A fourth kingdom will be as strong as iron, for iron crushes and shatters everything. And like iron that smashes it, and like iron that smashes, it will crush and smash all the others. You saw the feet and toes, partly of a potter's fired clay, and partly of iron. It will be divided. It will be a divided kingdom, though some of the strength of iron will be in it. You saw the iron mixed with clay, and that the toes of the feet were part iron and part fired clay. Part of the kingdom will be strong, and part will be brittle. Go.
41. Better composite?
Better composite.
Composite? Yes. Since it was composed of strong people, iron and the weak people were referred to as clay.
Mm.
So the strong and the weak people were divided.
Strong and the weak. 43. You saw the iron mixed with clay. The peoples will mix with one another, but will not hold together, just as iron does not mix with fired clay. In the days of those kings, the God of heaven will set up a kingdom that will never be destroyed. And this kingdom will not be left to another people. It will crush all these kingdoms and bring them to an end, but will itself endure forever. You saw a stone break off from the mountain without a hand touching it, and it crushed the iron, bronze fired, clay, silver, and gold. The great God has told the king what will happen in the future. The dream is true, and its interpretation certain. Then King Nebuchadnezzar fell down, paid homage to Daniel, and gave orders to present an offering and incense to him. The king said to Daniel, "Your God is indeed God of gods, Lord of kings, and a revealer of mysteries, since you were able to reveal this mystery." Then the king promoted Daniel and gave him many generous gifts. He made him ruler over the entire province of Babylon and chief governor over all the wise men of Babylon. At Daniel's request, the king appointed Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego to manage the province of Babylon. But Daniel remained in the king's court. Oh, to think you came in as an exile. You're ready to represent the Lord who just kept you alive, and you're of the people of the Israelites. You're ready to serve. Lord, how long will it be? You were silent, you were mute, because you were only given God's word, and you only spoke when God told you to go speak. And when you went to go speak, you were bashed, you were criticized, you were hit, you were beat, you were ignored. Now he's a prisoner. Now he's in exile. Now he's being called to die. Wow, I thought we were wise men. Lord, we're going to be sentenced to death. Wow. Can we interpret his dream, Lord? Had faith, believed, prayed, fasted. When he was with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, I don't presume they got the interpretation in one day. No, he says he urged them. And between the four, how much time was given? It doesn't matter. God gave Noah 120 years to build the ark. You tell me God isn't patient? You tell me God isn't merciful? Oh, we are absurd, gullible, gluttonous people, vessels of filth and dirt. 3, King Nebuchadnezzar made a 90 feet high and 9 feet wide. I wonder where he got the idea. Remember his dream?
This is the lesson faith and test of faith.
Well, that's kind of giving the insight of what the chapter is about. It is when he creates a place of testing, which the Lord tests also by fire. Coming up next. 10 Hut, batter up. King Nebuchadnezzar made a gold statue 90 feet high and 9 feet wide. He set it up on the plain of Dura in the province of Babylon. King Nebuchadnezzar sent word to assemble the satraps, prefects, governors, advisors, treasurers, judges, magistrates, and all the rulers of the provinces to attend the dedication of the statue King Nebuchadnezzar had set up. So the satraps, prefects, governors, advisors, treasurers, judges, magistrates, and all the rulers of the provinces assembled for the dedication of the statue the king had set up. Then they stood before the statue Nebuchadnezzar had set up. A herald loudly proclaimed, "People of every nation and language, you are commanded." You want to know what they were commanded? Take the COVID vaccine now. When you hear the sound of the horn, flute, zither, lyre, harp, drum, and every kind of music, you are to fall You are to fall down and worship the God statue that King Nebuchadnezzar has set up. Wow. The nerve of this guy, huh? What an egocentric, Facebook loving fool. But whoever does not fall down and worship will immediately be thrown into a furnace of blazing fire. He probably had the evil laugh that was invented there. Therefore, 7, when all the people heard the sound of the horn, flute, cider, or zither, I don't know what that is, lyre, harp, and every kind of music, people of every nation and language fell down and worshiped the gold statue that King Nebuchadnezzar had set up. Think about this. King Nebuchadnezzar considers himself a god man. He is laying siege to everything. Daniel just told him, hey, even the animals of the earth are yours. You think he didn't take ownership over men? All of them. In his kingdom now, you got a bunch of colors too, right? I'm sure they had their differences as well, but they're grateful to be somewhere eating and breathing. So no one's really bitching about anything. Just like that lizard up there. Look at him. He's like, I own this place. He's thinking like he thinks he's like what's his name? Morrison, the Lizard King. Little lizard, go shed your skin.
I don't know when they turn black. They used to be green.
It's in the summertime. I don't know. They're weird. The Nephilim filing are lizards as well. 7. Therefore, when all the people heard the sound of the horn, flute, guitar, lyre, harp, and every kind of music, people of every nation and language fell down and worshipped the gold statue that King Nebuchadnezzar had set up. For a time, this had to have happened. They watched the statue be built. On the day of inauguration, they were already announcing, hey, when that thing is done, we're going to establish a law. When it is built, we are going to establish your boundaries, your limits, where you can go, how far you can fly, and if you are qualified to exist or not in our new world order in 2020. China's already going through it. You've got children as small as, 9 months of pregnancy. They're already getting vaccinated in the womb and or outside. Their schools, they're getting hygiene. Their shoes are getting sprayed. It's ridiculous. I was watching video last night. Buenos dias. Bendiciones en nombre de Jesús. So, 7. He had set up, right? 8. Some Chaldeans took this occasion to come forward and maliciously accuse the Jews. Oh, why is it always the Jews? They said to King Nebuchadnezzar, may the king live forever. That's how they were supposed to always salute. Why? Because they understood quantum science. They spoke positive things so that good things would manifest. Remember, we are made in God's image and in his likeness. Kindergarten people. They said to King Nebuchadnezzar, may the king live forever. You, as king, have issued a decree that everyone who hears the sound of the horn, flute, guitar, lyre, harp, drum, and every kind of music must fall down and worship the gold statue. Whoever does not fall down and worship will be thrown into a furnace of blazing fire. That means these people have been observing. Who's not bowing down? We've been playing the song for a long time. You're not doing the Opa Gangnam style. You're not doing the Macarena? Aw, we're going to burn you. Macarena. There are some Jews you have appointed to manage a province of Babylon. Shadrach, Meshach. Did I read 11? Whoever does not fall down and worship will be thrown into the furnace of blazing fire. 12. There are some Jews you have appointed to manage a province of Babylon. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men have ignored you, the king. They do not serve your gods or worship the gold statue you have set up. How dare they? Then, in a furious rage, like that road rage we get when we're driving down the traffic here in the pyramid building, Hebrew slave pyramid. And then in a furious rage, Nebuchadnezzar gave orders to bring in Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. He was the one that named them. He was the one that made them officials. But now he is so full of himself that he is ignoring and forgetting who established and who gave him that playground where he's in. So these men were brought before the king. Nebuchadnezzar asked them, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, is it true that you don't serve my gods or worship the gold statue I have set up? In his own ignorance, he forgot. In his own pride, he forgot what interpretation they had given him. Wow. Now, if you're ready, when you hear the sound of horn, flute, guitar, lyre, harp, drum, and every kind of music, fall down and worship the statue I made. But if you don't worship it, you will immediately be thrown into a furnace of blazing fire. Ha 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 ha. He had to have been that arrogant. And who is a God who can rescue you from my power? Oh, he had to have said that like this, like Austin Powers. Pride. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego replied to the king, Nebuchadnezzar. They didn't say your highness. They didn't say your majesty. Now they're looking at him as a vessel of dirt. Nebuchadnezzar, we don't need to give you an answer to this question. If the God we serve exists, then he can rescue us from the furnace of blazing fire. They knew where they came from. They may as well have been coming from Egypt after they walked through the Dead Sea or the Red Sea that was parted. They know who's watching. They know who's watching. Nebuchadnezzar as well. Then he can rescue us from the furnace of blazing fire. And he can rescue us from the power of you, the king. Little K. But even if he does not rescue us, we want you as king to know that we will not serve your gods or worship the gold statue you set up. Go.
17 and 18. They do not make any conditions with God. Deliverance or martyrdom were equally possible in God's plan. They were ready for either.
They were already exiles. They were given for dead anyway. If they were going to be dead for God, oh, well, now they get to be witness for themselves. And to a king who absolutely just now forgot. He had given them their names, and they had given him interpretation of what he is even enjoying.
It's a dream.
You realize the gullibility and the naiveness that we get to, the complacency we go for, because we get so far corrupted in what we see with our eyes, and what we can taste with our flesh, and what we can touch with our skin against another skin, however many you want. There's still only temporal satisfaction. What good is 1,000 virgins in heaven when you will not have a body? Your spirit. We are here to learn to live by his ordinances, his statutes, his limitations, that in this little tiny glimpse of life that he has given us on this earth, of a vapor of breath that he calls our life, whether we get to be 30, 50, or 80, or 100, it's still just but a breath unto everlasting. His word restores these three in a kingdom of however many million or 100,000s they were. Three. And Daniel was over there praying. He hadn't been brought in yet. Wait for it. From 18. But even if he does not rescue us, we want you as king to know that we will not serve your gods or worship the gold statue you set up.
Yeah.
We're not taking no shots. And Nebuchadnezzar was filled with rage and expression, and the expression on his face changed towards Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. He gave orders to heat the furnace 7 times more than was customary. Customary? I guess others had possibly defiled. I don't know. Maybe they just set it up to a certain heat just to give them a little fear. And they bowed down because it's like, oh, it's hot enough, huh? That's hot enough, huh? You're scared now, huh? All right, well, you better bow down. And they did. He gave orders to heat the furnace 7 times more than was customary. And he commanded some of the strongest soldiers in his army to tie up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and throw them into the fire, into the furnace of blazing fire. Has more meaning with the furnace. So these men, in their trousers, robes, head coverings, and other clothes, were tied up and thrown into the furnace of blazing fire. Right there on the spot. Since the king's command was so urgent, and the furnace extremely hot, the raging flames killed those men who carried Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego up. Burned them up. And these 3 men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell bound into the furnace of blazing fire. Then King Nebuchadnezzar jumped up in alarm. He said to his advisors, "Didn't we throw 3 men bound into the fire?" "Yes, of course, your majesty," they replied to the king. He exclaimed, "Look, I see 4 men, not tied, walking around in the fire, unharmed.
Hallelujah.
And the 4th looks like a son of the gods." He must have been glowing. He must have been glowing because, oh, the Lord was standing for them right there in that spot. He says, "Wow, you 3 exiled, given credit, given a job in the kingdom of Nebuchadnezzar, chose to stay clean, live by my decrees. Hey, now you're going to be placed in a furnace. Is your faith strong enough? One vessel of dirt, Oh, yeah, they're pretty well spoken. Wow, they sound very convicted. I guess they really got the message I sent them when I evacuated them from Judah. So these men in their oh yeah, he jumped in alarm. 24.
I do.
Then King Nebuchadnezzar jumped in alarm. He said to his advisors, "Didn't we throw the 3 men bound into the fire?" "Yes, of course, your majesty." And they replied to the king. He exclaimed, "Look, I see 4 men, not tied, walking around in the fire. And the 4th looks like a son of the gods." Nebuchadnezzar was clueless to who Yahweh is, not was, always has been. Just said you had insight? No?
It just made a note of the divine being that was in the fire. Said it could have been an angel or possibly a pre-incarnate appearance of Christ.
A pre-incarnate appearance of Christ.
But Nebuchadnezzar,
Angel of the Lord, he was described as in the Old Testament as well. And he was the angel of the Lord, the one who gave Jacob his hip displacement. But in the thought of what he says, the 4th looks like a son of the gods. They already knew there were deities. These deities had shown themselves in this flat earth terrestrial place. So we're at 27. Most High come out. No, not yet. We're at 25. He exclaimed, "Yeah, look, men tied, that walk." Nebuchadnezzar then approached the door. 26. Nebuchadnezzar then approached the door of the furnace of blazing fire. So he approached the door, but the other men that were pushing them in were consumed. How close he got, I don't know. But he starts calling out to them, and he remembers their names. "Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, you servants of the Most High God, come out." So Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came out of the fire. When the satraps, prefects, governors, and the king's advisors gathered around, they saw that the fire had no effect on the bodies of these men. Not a hair of their heads was singed. Their robes were unaffected, and there was no smell of fire on them. You mean they just smelled like their sweaty selves? I'll tell you why. Because this is still God's matrix. Just like Neo, he can alterate anything in that movie or in his gadget or in his program. The Lord is the architect of the universe, of this matrix where we get to be the first Sim City. He gave us a little bit of intelligence, of vessels of dirt, the ability to discern a lot more through his word. But the more we ignore it, the stupider we become. I'm just saying, the evidence shows it because I'm just a high school dropout at the end of it. 28. Nebuchadnezzar exclaimed, "Praise to the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego." I guess he remembered again. "He sent his angel and rescued his servants who trusted him. They violated the king's command and risked their lives rather than serve or worship any God except their own God." Capital G. "Therefore, that anyone of any people, nation, who says anything offensive against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego will be torn limb from limb, and his house made a garbage dump. For there is no other God who is able to deliver like this." Then the king rewarded Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the province of Babylon. Bah! Isn't that amazing? not only was Daniel, huh? Oh, wow, Lord's
We're
amazing.
so into this.
Praise God.
Think of the testimony that Daniel had here. They were of the exiles. He's being used by God, not just once. Then he's back to being threatened to life again and being thrown into the furnace, coming out alive. Second time life has been spared. I know a few that have been given life resuscitation more than once, twice, 3, 4, 5 times. And the Lord's mercy is still abounding. He knows who those are. Let us be hungry for him. Let us be found seeking his ways. Because time flies by when you're in the Lord's word.
Obviously.
Oh boy.
Well, what was the goal? How many to read?
That was it. 3. That was it. Isn't it amazing to be in class? It is just the basics. Here, Blair. It is just the basics. We're only beginning. We're only beginning the class.
Right on.
It is nice and cool in Heart's Haven. Here you go, mi amor. It is just as cool at Heart's Haven. For there is no other word. Porque no hay otra palabra dada al hombre. No hay dado ningún otro nombre bajo el cielo, por lo cual podamos ser salvos. Porque sin él, nada de lo establecido existiera. Y en la realidad de que en su palabra encontramos todo entendimiento. Rome still rules. Y la realidad de lo cual en Facebook, en el Facebook, estamos dando testimonio de lo cual es su palabra dada a los hombres, de lo cual podamos tener confianza en poner toda certidumbre, toda confianza, toda duda, toda pregunta, todo entendimiento, todo conocimiento, todo pretensión de conocer, que todo sea establecido a través de lo que su palabra establecida ya, de lo cual de ahí, que ya está fundado, podamos ejercer, podamos construir, edificar, participar y contribuir, colaborar en lo que es eficaz, fruto, florecer, permanecer, sustentar con la sal, traer sabor, preservar. Y mantener con luz, con hambre de su palabra, con hambre de su verdad, con hambre de su conocimiento. Está un lagartijo allá pantallándome su vigoricidad. 1 al 3. Daniel, en el año tercero del reinado. Señor, gracias por tu palabra. Gracias por entendimiento y gracias por hambre de conocer más de lo cual vemos aquí en esta tierra. Danos conocimiento y danos compasión para nuestros prójimos, vecinos. Bendiciones a aquellos que tengan oído para escuchar tu palabra de Espíritu Santo, manifestar y traer vida, restaurar, renovar y darnos un corazón de carne y no de piedra. Gracias, Señor, en nombre de Cristo Jesús. En el año tercero del reinado de Joacim, rey de Judá, vino Nabucodonosor, rey de Babilonia, a Jerusalén y la sitió. Y el Señor entregó en sus manos a Joacim, rey de Judá, y parte de los utensilios de la casa de Dios, y los trajo a tierra de Sinar, a la casa de su Dios, y colocó los utensilios en la casa del tesoro de su Dios. Y dijo el rey a Aspenas, jefe de sus eunucos, que trajese de los hijos de Israel, del linaje real, muchachos en quienes no hubiese tacha alguna, de buen parecer, enseñados en toda sabiduría, sabios en ciencia y de buen entendimiento, e idóneos para estar en el palacio del rey, y que les enseñe las letras y la lengua de los caldeos. Y les señaló el rey ración para cada día, de la provisión de la comida del rey y del vino que él bebía, y que los criase 3 años, para que al fin de ellos se presentasen delante del rey. Entre estos estaban Daniel, Ananías, Misael, Azarías, de los hijos de Judá. Y a estos, el jefe de los eunucos puso nombres. Puso a Daniel, Baltasar, a Ananías, Sadrach, a Misael, Mesac, y a Azarías, Abednego. Y Daniel propuso en su corazón no contaminarse con la porción de la comida del rey, ni con el vino que él bebía. Pidió, por tanto, al jefe de los eunucos que no se le obligase a contaminarse. Y puso Dios a Daniel en gracia y en buena voluntad con el jefe de los eunucos. Y dijo el jefe de los eunucos a Daniel: temo a mi señor el rey, que señaló vuestra comida y vuestra bebida, pues luego que él vea vuestros rostros más pálidos que los de los muchachos, que son semejantes a vosotros, los de los muchachos que son semejantes a vosotros, condenaréis para con el rey mi cabeza. Entonces dijo Daniel a Melzar, que estaba puesto por el jefe de los eunucos sobre Daniel, Ananías, Misael y Azarías: te ruego que hagas la prueba con tus siervos por 10 días y nos den legumbres a comer y agua a beber. Compara luego nuestros rostros con los rostros de los muchachos que comen de la ración de la comida del rey, y haz después con tus siervos según veas. Consintió pues con ellos en esto, y probó con ellos 10 días. Y al cabo de los 10 días pareció el rostro de ellos mejor y más robusto que el de los otros muchachos que comían de la porción de la comida del rey. Así pues, Melzar se llevaba la porción de la comida de ellos y el vino que habían de beber, y les daba legumbres. A estos 4 muchachos Dios les dio conocimiento e inteligencia en todas las letras y ciencias, ciencias. Y Daniel tuvo entendimiento en toda visión y sueños. Pasados pues los días, al fin de los cuales había dicho el rey que los trajesen, el jefe de los eunucos los trajo delante de Nabucodonosor. Y el rey habló con ellos, y no fueron hallados entre todos ellos otros como Daniel, Ananías y Azarías. Así pues, estuvieron delante del rey en todo asunto de sabiduría e inteligencia que el rey les consultó. Los halló 10 veces mejores que todos los magos y astrólogos que había en todo su reino. Y continuó Daniel hasta el año primero del rey Ciro. En el segundo año del reinado de Nabucodonosor, tuvo Nabucodonosor sueños y se perturbó su espíritu y se le fue el sueño. Hizo llamar el rey a magos, astrólogos, encantadores y caldeos para que le expliquen sus sueños. Vinieron pues y les presentaron delante del rey. Y el rey les dijo: he tenido un sueño y mi espíritu mi espíritu se ha turbado por saber el sueño. Mi espíritu se ha turbado por saber el sueño. Entonces hablaron los caldeos al rey en lengua aramea: Rey, para siempre vive. Di el sueño a tus siervos y te mostraremos la interpretación. Respondió el rey y dijo a los caldeos: el asunto lo olvidé. Si no me mostráis el sueño y su interpretación, seréis hechos pedazos y vuestras casas serán convertidas en muladares. Y si me mostraréis el sueño y su interpretación, recibiréis de mí dones y favores y gran honra. Decidme pues el sueño y su interpretación. Respondieron por segunda vez y dijeron: diga el rey el sueño a sus siervos y le mostraremos la interpretación. El rey respondió y dijo: yo no conozco ciertamente que vosotros ponéis el dilac. Y el rey respondió y dijo: yo conozco ciertamente que vosotros ponéis dilaciones, porque veis que el asunto se me ha ido. Si no me mostráis el sueño, una sola sentencia hay para vosotros. Ciertamente preparéis respuesta mentirosa y perversa que decir delante de mí, entre tanto que pasa el tiempo. Decidme pues el sueño, para que yo sepa que me podéis dar su interpretación. Wow. Clueless. Los caldeos respondieron delante del rey y dijeron: no hay hombre sobre la tierra que pueda declarar el asunto del rey. Además de esto, ningún rey, príncipe ni señor preguntó cosa semejante a ningún mago, ni astrólogo, ni caldeo, porque el asunto que el rey demanda es difícil y no hay quien lo pueda declarar al rey, salvo los dioses cuya morada no es con la carne. Por eso el rey, con ira y con gran enojo, mandó que matasen a todos los sabios de Babilonia. Y se publicó el edicto de que los sabios fueran llevados a la muerte. Y buscaron a Daniel y a sus compañeros para matarlos. Entonces Daniel habló sabia y prudentemente a Arioc, capitán de la guardia del rey, que había salido para matar a los sabios de Babilonia. Habló y dijo a Arioc, capitán del rey: ¿cuál es la causa de que este edicto se publique de parte del rey tan apresuradamente? Entonces Arioc quiso saber a Daniel lo que había. Y Daniel entró y pidió al rey que le diese tiempo y que él mostraría la interpretación al rey. Luego se fue de su casa e hizo saber lo que había a Ananías, Misael. 17 de nuevo. Luego se fue Daniel a su casa e hizo saber lo que había a Ananías, Misael y Azarías, sus compañeros, para que pidiesen misericordias del Dios del cielo sobre este misterio, a fin de que Daniel y sus compañeros no pereciesen con los otros sabios de Babilonia. Entonces el secreto fue revelado a Daniel en visión de noche, por lo cual bendijo Daniel al Dios del cielo. Y Daniel habló y dijo: sea bendito el nombre de Dios. Sea bendito el nombre de Dios de los siglos de siglos en siglos, porque suyos son el poder y la sabiduría. Él muda los tiempos y las edades, quita reyes y pone reyes, da la sabiduría a los sabios y la ciencia a los entendidos. Él revela lo profundo y lo escondido, conoce lo que está en tinieblas, y con él mora la luz. A ti, oh Dios de mis padres, te doy gracias y te alabo, porque me has dado sabiduría y fuerza, y ahora me has revelado lo que te pedimos, pues nos has dado a conocer el asunto del rey. Después de esto, fue Daniel a Arioc, al cual el rey había puesto para matar a los sabios de Babilonia, y le dijo así: no mates a los sabios de Babilonia, llévame a la presencia del rey. Ha estado un amarillo que anda volando muy bajo y a veces llega muy cerca a mi drone. Así que andamos pidiesen. Y Daniel hubo: sea bendito el nombre de Dios. Él muda los tiempos y las edades, quita reyes y pone reyes, da la sabiduría a los sabios y la ciencia a los entendidos. Él revela lo profundo y lo escondido, conoce lo que está en tinieblas, y con él mora la luz. A ti, oh Dios de mis padres, te doy gracias y te alabo, porque me has dado sabiduría y fuerza, y ahora me has revelado lo que te pedimos, pues nos has dado a conocer el asunto del rey. Después de esto fue Daniel a Arioc, al cual el rey había puesto para matar a los sabios de Babilonia, y le dijo: no mates a los sabios de Babilonia, llévame a la presencia del rey y yo le mostraré la interpretación. Entonces Arioc llevó prontamente a Daniel ante el rey y le dijo así: he hallado un varón de los deportados de Judá, el cual dará al rey la interpretación. Respondió el rey y dijo a Daniel, al cual llamaban Belsasar: ¿podrás tú hacerme conocer el sueño que vi y su interpretación? Daniel respondió delante del rey diciendo: el rey demanda: ni sabios, ni astrólogos, ni magos, ni adivinos lo pueden revelar al rey. Pero hay un Dios en los cielos, el cual revela los misterios, y él ha hecho saber al rey Nabucodonosor lo que ha de acontecer en los postreros días. He aquí tu sueño y las visiones que has tenido en tu cama. Estando tú, oh rey, en tu cama, te vinieron pensamientos por saber lo que había de ser en lo porvenir. Y el que revela los misterios te mostró lo que ha de ser. Y a mí me ha sido revelado este misterio, no porque en mí haya más sabiduría que en todos los vivientes, sino para que se dé a conocer al rey la interpretación y para que entiendas los de tu corazón. Podemos probar a Dios con su palabra para saber lo que hay adentro del nuestro. Tú, oh rey, veías, y he aquí una gran imagen, esta imagen que era muy grande y cuya gloria era muy sublime. Estaba en pie delante de ti y su aspecto era terrible. La cabeza de esta imagen era de oro fino, su pecho, sus brazos de plata, su vientre y sus muslos de bronce, sus piernas de hierro, sus pies en parte de hierro y en parte de barro cocido. Estabas mirando hasta que en una piedra fue cortada, no con mano, e hirió a la imagen en sus pies de hierro y de barro cocido y lo desmenuzó. Entonces fueron desmenuzados también el hierro, el barro cocido, el bronce, la plata y el oro, y fueron como tamo de las eras del verano, y se los llevó a el viento sin que de ellos quedara rastro alguno. Mas la piedra que hirió a la imagen fue hecha un gran monte que llenó toda la tierra. Este es el sueño. También la interpretación de él, diremos, en la presencia del rey. Tú, oh rey, eres rey de reyes, porque el Dios del cielo te ha dado reino poder, fuerza y majestad. Y donde quiera que habitan hijos de hombres, bestias del campo y aves del cielo, Él los ha entregado en tu mano y te ha dado el dominio sobre todo. Tú eres aquella cabeza de oro, y después de ti se levantará otro reino inferior al tuyo, y luego un tercer reino de bronce, el cual dominará sobre toda la tierra, y el cuarto reino será fuerte como hierro, y como el hierro desmenuza y rompe todas las cosas, desmenuzará y quebrantará todo. Y lo que viste de los pies y los dedos, en parte de barro cocido de alfarero y en parte de hierro, será un reino dividido, mas habrá en él algo de la fuerza del hierro. Así como viste hierro mezclado con barro cocido, y por ser los dedos de los pies en parte de hierro y en parte de barro cocido, el reino será en parte fuerte y en parte frágil. Así como viste el hierro mezclado con barro, se mezclarán por medio de alianzas humanas, pero no se unirán el uno con el otro, como el hierro no se mezcla con el barro. Y en los días de estos reyes, el Dios del cielo levantará un reino que no será jamás destruido, ni será el reino dejado a otro pueblo. Desmenuzará y consumirá a todos estos reinos, pero él permanecerá para siempre. De la manera que viste que del monte cortada una piedra, no con mano, la cual desmenuzó el hierro, el bronce, el barro, la plata y el oro, el gran Dios ha mostrado al rey lo que ha de acontecer en lo porvenir. Se desapareció, y el sueño es verdadero y fiel, su interpretación. Entonces el rey Nabucodonosor se postró sobre su rostro y se humilló ante Daniel, y mandó que le ofreciesen presentes e incienso. El rey habló a Daniel y dijo: ciertamente el Dios vuestro es Dios de dioses y Señor de los reyes, y el que revela los misterios, pues pudiste. Y Señor de los reyes, y el que revela los misterios, pues pudiste revelar este misterio. Entonces el rey engrandeció a Daniel y le dio muchos honores y grandes dones, y le hizo gobernador de toda la provincia de Babilonia y jefe supremo de todos los sabios de Babilonia. Y Daniel solicitó del rey y obtuvo que pusiera sobre los negocios de la provincia de Babilonia a Sadrach, Mesach y Abednego. Y Daniel estaba en la corte del rey. El rey Nabucodonosor III hizo una estatua de oro, cuya altura era de 60 codos y su anchura de 6 codos. La levantó en el campo de Dura, en la provincia de Babilonia. Y envió el rey Nabucodonosor a que se reuniesen los sátrapas, los magistrados y capitanes, oidores, tesoreros, consejeros, jueces y todos los gobernadores de las provincias, para que viniesen a la divina dedicación de la estatua que el rey de Nabucodonosor había levantado. Fueron, pues, reunidos los sátrapas, magistrados, capitanes, oidores, tesoreros, consejeros, jueces y todos los gobernadores de las provincias a la dedicación de la estatua que el rey Nabucodonosor había levantado, y estaban en pie delante de la estatua que había levantado el rey Nabucodonosor. Y el pregonero anunciaba en alta voz: mandase a vosotros, oh pueblos, naciones y lenguas, que al oír el son de la bocina, de la flauta, del tamboril, del arpa, del salterio, de la zampoña y de todo instrumento de música, os postraréis y adoraréis la estatua de oro que el rey Nabucodonosor ha levantado. Y cualquiera que no se postre y adore, inmediatamente será echado dentro de un horno de fuego ardiendo. Por lo cual, al oír todos los pueblos el son de la bocina, de la flauta, del tamboril, del arpa, del salterio, de la zampoña y de todo instrumento de música, todos los pueblos, naciones y lenguas se postraron y adoraron a la estatua de oro que el rey Nabucodonosor había levantado. Por eso en aquel tiempo algunos varones caldeos vinieron y acusaron maliciosamente a los judíos. Hablaron y dijeron al rey Nabucodonosor: Rey, para siempre vive. Tú, oh rey, has dado una ley que todo hombre, al oír el son de todos los instrumentos de música, se postre y adore la estatua de oro. Y el que no se postre y adore sea echado dentro de un horno de fuego ardiendo. Hay unos varones judíos, los cuales pusiste sobre los negocios de la provincia de Babilonia, Sadrach, Mesach y Abednego. Estos varones, oh rey, no te han respetado, no adorarán tus dioses, no adoran tus dioses, ni adoran la estatua de oro que has levantado. Entonces Nabucodonosor dijo con ira y con enojo que trajesen a Sadrach, Mesach y Abednego. Al instante fueron traídos estos varones delante del rey. Habló Nabucodonosor y les dijo: ¿es verdad, Sadrach, Mesach y Abednego, que vosotros no honráis a mi Dios, ni adoráis la estatua de oro que he levantado? Ahora pues, ¿estáis dispuestos para que al oír el son de todos los instrumentos de música, os postraréis y adoraréis la estatua que he hecho? ¿Y que Dios será aquel que os libre de mis manos? Sadrach, Mesach y Abednego respondieron al rey Nabucodonosor diciendo: no es necesario que te respondamos sobre este asunto. He aquí, nuestro Dios, a quien servimos, puede librarnos del horno de fuego ardiendo. De tu mano, oh rey, nos librará. Y si no, sepas, oh rey, que no serviremos a tus dioses, ni tampoco adoraremos la estatua que has levantado. Entonces Nabucodonosor se llenó de ira y se demudó el aspecto de su rostro contra Sadrach, Mesach y Abednego, y ordenó que el horno se calentase 7 veces más de lo acostumbrado. Y mandó a hombres muy vigorosos que tenía en su ejército que atasen a Sadrach, Mesach y Abednego para echarlos en el horno de fuego ardiendo. Entonces varones fueron atados con sus mantos, sus calzas, sus turbantes y vestidos, y fueron echados dentro del horno de fuego ardiendo. Y como la orden del rey era tan apremiante y lo habían calentado mucho, la llama del fuego mató a aquellos que habían alzado a Sadrach, Mesach y Abednego. Y estos 3 varones, Sadrach, Mesach y Abednego, cayeron atados dentro del horno de fuego ardiendo. Entonces el rey Nabucodonosor se espantó y se levantó apresuradamente y dijo a los de su consejo: ¿no echaron a 3 varones atados dentro del fuego? Ellos respondieron al rey: es verdad, oh rey. Y él dijo: he aquí, yo veo 4 varones sueltos que se pasean en medio del fuego sin sufrir ningún daño, y el aspecto del cuarto es semejante a hijo de los dioses. Entonces Nabucodonosor se acercó a la puerta del horno de fuego ardiendo y dijo: Sadrach, Mesach y Abednego, siervos del Dios Altísimo, salid y venid. Entonces Sadrach, Mesach y Abednego salieron de en medio del fuego, y se juntaron los sátrapas, los gobernadores, los capitanes y los consejeros del rey para mirar a estos varones. Como el fuego no había tenido poder alguno sobre sus cuerpos, ni aun el cabello de sus cabezas se había quemado. Sus ropas estaban intactas y ni siquiera olor de fuego tenían. Entonces Nabucodonosor dijo: bendito sea el Dios de ellos, de Sadrach, Mesach y Abednego, que envió su ángel y libró a sus siervos que confiaron en él y que no cumplieron el edicto del rey y entregaron sus cuerpos antes que servir y adorar a otro Dios que su Dios. Por lo tanto, decreto que todo pueblo, nación o lengua que dijere blasfemia contra el Dios de Sadrach, Mesach y Abednego sea descuartizado y su casa convertida en muladar, por cuanto no hay Dios que pueda librar como este. Entonces el rey engrandeció a Sadrach, Mesach y Abednego en la provincia de Babilonia. Oh Babilonia, es donde vives tú y donde ando yo. Es Babilonia, este lugar así, que está contaminándose de toda inmundicia. Bendiciones. Life on stage. Jesus is Lord. Awesome. Out. o creo, Piper. Así que Babilonia es donde estamos hoy, porque no sabemos dónde andamos hoy. Así podemos saber y conocer de su palabra y no de lo que confiamos, ni lo que vemos aquí. 10 de la mañana, bendiciones para aquellos que estamos andando en su jornada. Damos gracias y pedimos bendición de Dios para aquellos que tengan hambre de su palabra. Life on stage, awesome out.